The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of the Side Project Live are not necessarily those of LRN.FM, Tuiville, the Illinois Libertarian Party, and a bunch of other people.
We'd like to invite you and all the members of your household
to gather around and join us now
for a very special episode of
Side Project Live. And what's so special about it?
I'm not wearing any pants.
To another exciting episode of Side Project Live. Appreciate everybody hanging with us through the rather inconsistent schedule we've been having the last couple of months due to, my surgery and different things with the technical side of things. But hey, we're here. And by the way, we got new intro music. That is the song called Springtide. It's by the band called. They're a group out of Japan. Their website is www.jp, and I'd like to thank them for giving me the permission to use that song. It's a pretty good song. Check out their music. They're awesome. And once again, this time from the lobby of the Side Project Tower, this is Jim Goebel.
And as usual, from the meat locker storage basement in Lockport, Illinois, it's Eric Ferguson.
And before we go any further, I'd like to tell everybody that we do have the Q&A open here on Google Hangouts. You can contact us at thesideproject2@gmail. Our Twitter hashtag is TSPLive. If you want to talk to us on Twitter, it's at thesideproject2. And our Google Voice number, which, come on, give us a call. We're lonely. 815-200-4912. And hey, we won't charge by the minute like other phone numbers do. So, there you go. Wow, this echo in my headphones is really starting to kill me. We have with us today a very special guest. Her name is Claire Mall, and she is the board of, is it trustee? You're running for the board of the College of DuPage. What exactly is it that you're running for?
Yes, I'm running for the board of trustees at the College of DuPage. Thank you for having me on your show.
So, all right, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run for this particular position.
Well, I started hearing about there's been a lot of stuff coming out in the news lately, a lot of FOIA requests for information from College of DuPage, and the more I've heard about it, the more the situation just really alarms me. There's a lot of problems with transparency over there. There's a lot of problems with President Bruder in particular. Seems he's spending a lot of money over there, and it's not a very good situation right now. But about me, I was homeschooled and all the way up through high school, and a community college was my first real try at structured learning. My mom was very liberal, very much learn what you want to learn, don't learn what you don't want to learn. Very wonderful for the creative side of things, but when it came to the more structured learning environment, my first real experience with it was in a community college, and that experience, I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. I found a lot of value in community colleges, and I don't want to see College of DuPage go down the route of, say, a lot of our political offices, where it's just a big joke and, oh yeah, pay to play over there, and corruption and all that fun stuff. And the more that's coming out in the news, the more I want to do something about it. The board of directors over there is very complacent. They are just rubber stamping everything that's going through. They're not asking questions. They're not doing their job. Their job is to help the people. Their job is to be the voice of the people. listen to the people and keep the executive board in check, and they're not doing that. So I want to get in there.
All right, I'm getting a little. Yeah, I apologize. There's the way my setup is for now, but until, like I said, next week, which I should probably be getting on my normal setup, I'm gonna have to learn how to deal with this. So, what exactly is going on over there at the College of DuPage? I mean, I've heard a few stories, but many listeners to our show may not have heard any of them. So, go ahead and if you could fill us in on some of the things that are going on there.
Sure. Oh, it's the madhouse. So, College of DuPage is it is the largest community college in Illinois. They service DuPage County, and it started with an email last July that was leaked out that came from President Bruder. It was to his staff, talking to them about how to secure this $20 million construction grant that they had been promised from the state. The email was specific, talking about how they could, I don't want to say butter up, but how they could positively influence Governor Pat Quinn, who was coming for a visit, and it went into detail about how we may not necessarily need the grant money, but we'll figure out what to do with it. And a lot of people saw that as just a money grab, as there was no need for it. They have gone through renovations, they've gone through new building construction, and there's really no need for this extra $20 million. So why not let it be used for a college that needs it? So that started the ball rolling. FOIA requests started filtering in, asking for further documentation, further requests. Then it came out that they've been using this impressed account for a lot of their expenses. And what that means is that, I guess, I only heard about this when I started hearing about COD. An impressed account is where you are allowed to lump up to a certain dollar amount worth of invoices and show them as one line item on a ledger, on an approval. And the Board of Trustees then approves that one line item. So you could lump anything in there. And their threshold limit was $15,000. You could lump a lot of invoices in there, and that's what was happening. There was millions of dollars spent out of this impressed account, and through FOIA requests, it's coming out that a lot of these expenses are very questionable. It's been reimbursements to the president for wining and dining at the Waterleaf, the restaurant that the college built, that's been losing money. It's expenses for why are we paying taxes for satellite phones for the president while he was out of the country so that we could remain in touch? I don't know about you, but I mean, I can take 2 weeks off and occasionally call in, and I'm okay. I don't need a big old satellite phone from my company. So a lot of expenses are coming out that are very questionable, and the other things that are coming out are we have no bid contracts. We're using a lot of no bid contracts. That basically means we are circumventing the competitive bidding process. It is allowed, but the instances in which you can use it are very rare. It's being used a lot, and it's also being used with a lot of the people who are being awarded these no bid contracts, we're finding out, are also on the foundation board. There's a big conflict of interest there. It's there's a lot of that going on, and just recently, which is finally getting some media attention, has been the buyout of President Bruder's contract. It's questionable. It's not valid, really. He has a contract through 2019, and we've been under and just earlier this year, he went to the board and spoke that he was interested in retiring. 9 months later, on the board meeting packet for the evening. This kind of thing, when the board of directors votes on these types of things, they're supposed to let the public know. Any big decisions, any big approvals, any approvals need transparency. The people need to know what they're paying for. And they had it as a vague line item on their board of.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Can you hear us, Claire? Hello? Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hello, Claire. You with us? Okay.
Well,
This is going to be
that was just getting interesting.
So,
Ooh. Interesting.
yeah, I know. And I had some questions for her, too. Okay. All right. I'm gonna dump you and join you back to the conversation here.
Okay, there you go. Try her again. Okay, there you go. Try her again.
Let's see if she comes back. So far it's a pretty sordid tale, but when she comes back, I got some questions for her about these line item things. To be able to put all of the budget into one lump entry in the account, for lack of a better term, you can hide a whole bunch of crap in that. And
sure.
Why it's allowed in Illinois, well, I'd like to say I don't know, but I know exactly why, because they want to hide stuff.
Right.
There's no accountability in the state, and I'm not hopeful with the new guy we got coming in for governor.
I'm not impressed. You know, I'd like to think it'll be a better choice, but I think I'd rather have the evil I know than the evil I don't know.
What was it who said? Meet the old boss, same as or meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Exactly, that's the new boss.
Yeah, it's amazing about how many like musicians and whatever from back in the day were like always critical of politicians like the Who and the Beatles and even Monty Python, but as they get older and whatever, a lot of them are more sympathetic to a specific political cause, and they totally throw their principles out the window. And I'd say Ringo Starr's probably the most consistent. He's in the past said that everything the government touches turns to crap.
Yeah.
So you got to give props to Ringo, despite no matter what you think about his drumming. But you know, see if we can get Claire back on here. What was that?
That's why he hires Sheila E.
Yeah. I still think he's pretty talented. I don't think he deserves a fraction of the crap that he gets.
No, it's fine.
And again, I like Phil Collins, so, and I can tolerate Nickelback. Phil Collins really gets crap. I don't understand that. He's an excellent drummer, and if it wasn't for him, Genesis wouldn't be the band it is today with all of the notoriety they have and all the hits they pumped out.
Yeah, I agree.
And still trying to get him here.
So somebody's internet went. Yeah, the Google thing's being a little weird today too. The Google things aren't working.
I noticed that. I think it might be because of my side here. Taking me on Facebook. So how are you doing, Eric?
Yeah, there's bandwidth bottlenecks everywhere. It happens. Okay. You know, my outbound bandwidth is pretty bad, so it's hard for me to tell what's going on. Inbound is pretty good. I can outbound pretty bad, so it's hard to judge of what's happening on the other side, but I can't tell you what's happening on my side. Outbound is pretty good. It's pretty lousy. Yeah, but we had fun here. There's a story in the paper here about my lovely little town. Spending a ridiculous amount of money for nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we have a bridge to nowhere, and they want to fix it because it's falling apart. Which is fine.
Oh, is that the one that's when you come across what is it, the Ninth Street Bridge,
The old
the little one that
yeah, the old one
used to be the main one across.
yeah, the old
What's
one
that?
underneath the big bridge. The old one.
Yeah, and there's only like one business using that thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. So there's that going on.
And whenever the
So there's that
or the
going
Des
on.
Plaines River floods, that thing gets a couple feet of water above it.
Sometimes. Yeah, but recently they hired an outside firm to try to decide what kind of businesses the city should have. And all they had to do is go and knock on a couple of doors. Name answer. And I would have done it for free. Instead, hire this company for $50,000 to tell them that, yeah, we could use a restaurant. Oh, good. Never would have got that on my own. Never would have got that on these guys. I'm sure they turned in a great report, nice full color charts and graphs, all kinds of stuff. I would have given them, chicken scratch on a legal pad, but how about you take that $40,000 and put it into the water system? People in my neighborhood are getting a little tired of the mud that comes out of our tap.
Well, it's everywhere. I mean, instead of putting the money towards things that really need to be done, like there's been talk for like decades about taking a bridge across the Des Plaines River at Canton Farm Road, and they're not doing that. They need another bridge over the Illinois River between Route 47 and Interstate 55. That's like 15 miles. I mean, if one of the bridges is closed, it's a 30-mile out-of-your-way trip.
Yeah.
Especially for me. I mean, I live on the south side of the river here in Morris, and there was an incident like 2 years ago where the bridge over the Illinois River at Route 47 was totally ice, and they closed it off. I had to go to 55 and across and back. I mean, that's 30 miles.
Yeah.
And they need another bridge there, yet the idiots in Joliet are talking about putting one across the Des Plaines River at Hobolt Road, making it a toll bridge and only charging the trucks, when the trucks can just go down 55 and go to the industrial park at Arsenal Road, which is a free exit. I mean, and there's been talk about that. I was amazed when I found out about that last year.
It's fun. It just, they don't
think these things through. I mean,
well, the other thing is the prices. How could it possibly cost? It might be a great company and did a great job, but how can it possibly cost $40,000 to drive around, town and go, see, we have a dozen pizzerias and banks, but we have not enough restaurants and no specialty shops or clothing stores. And just write that down. Turn it into your, mayor, and here you go, $40,000. Here you go, 40.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I mean, everybody thinks that the government is a bottomless purse, that they can just keep digging and digging and digging and getting the money out. Or I like the analogy that they did on the old Adult Swim show, C-Lab 2021, when the commander of C-Lab got a credit card, and he called it a magical goodies creator, not thinking he had to ever pay anything back. And he's just getting all this stuff shipped to C-Lab, and the government's a magical goodies creator. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was telling a friend of mine about the story, about this thing, and the very first thing he said, I didn't bring it up at all, and the first thing he said was, so who on the city council is related to who at this company? I'm like, well, I don't know if there was anything improper like that going on, but you have to ask that question.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people just don't have the time to get out to get to the city council meetings or the county board meetings or whatever, because we're so bothered with life. I mean, we've got all of the stuff we're worrying about. We're worrying about getting our bills paid. I mean, there's Timmy's soccer game tonight, and does your daughter have a speech meet in Yorkville today, which is actually true, and we got all this other stuff on our head that a lot of us, we don't know when the meetings are. We totally forget about it until after it's been started, or after it started like 30 minutes ago. And we really need more and more people like Claire out there to take the bull by the horns and fight for us. But
We do.
You know, once again, I mean, we're a lot of us are lazy when we see a name on the ballot. Oh, I know that name, you know, and vote for them or whatever. Sight unseen.
Yeah, but you also have things like, you know, the city of Summit, their city council meetings. You know why people don't know when the meeting is? Because they don't know when the meeting is.
Really?
Oh yeah. People will go to the meeting, right? It's scheduled. I think it's the first Monday of the month, whatever it is, 7 o'clock. Well, suppose they're going to have the budget meeting at 6:30. They finish early, go right into the city council meeting, and they're done and leave and lock the door before the public even shows up for the city council meeting. Or they'll cancel it and reschedule and not tell anybody when it's rescheduled. It's absurd. And then they'll, you know, won't post the minutes of the meeting until 2 months later. All kinds of crazy stuff.
It's a flash mob.
You know, and what are you doing? You know, you go to the meeting and the door is locked and there's a sign, sorry, meeting postponed, but there's no mention of when it's going to be. Oops.
I mean, they're trying to hide, you know, and then
it's
like Claire was saying.
They are in particular. This is a town where you have, in the last 20 years or something, in all the council meetings, there's been not one single dissenting vote. The entire council always votes the same way every time on every issue.
And we wonder why things are the way they are in this state.
Yeah, come on.
You know, and people say that you know that the political process is lost, and you know, it's why bother because it's going to go the way it is, and that. But especially a lot in the libertarian movement, not the Libertarian Party, but a lot of people in the Libertarian movement poo-poo the Libertarian Party and don't want to get involved because they say it's so far gone, and they may be right, but you got to go down with a fight, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth. The system is obviously rigged. So,
yeah.
You know, so it's hard to argue that it's worth fighting.
Yeah. And hey, it looks like we got Claire back. Can you hear us okay?
Right.
I think they're still connecting.
Yeah, takes a minute.
Yeah. By the way, I shut my camera off to hopefully that'll help the bandwidth issues, and I might shut you off too, Eric. So. But,
hello.
Ah, good. We got you back. Oh, okay. Cool.
That was me.
So,
me. My computer sucks.
Oh, well, you know what? We've been having bandwidth problems all over. In fact, I turned my camera off just for that reason. Okay, so where were we? Yeah. Well, you know what? The wife of the person who runs Radio Fubar, her niece made the image of the Statue of Liberty, and you know, I colored it in. No, actually, she did, but I just smoothed it out because it was drawn in. Well, I don't remember, but I smoothed out the coloring. Thanks to computers. So anyway, where were we?
Well,
I was talking about.
I'm sorry. What was that, Claire?
I was talking about the shenanigans going on at COD.
Right, and then you were mentioning how that they were putting all of this, all of the things in the budget into like one lump things, and it was only one item to be accepted or rejected, which I really hate that. That's a bunch of baloney. They do that in Congress all the time. I mean, they'll attach a federal pay raise to the Feed the Starving Children Act, and people that want to vote against the federal pay raise or something that was egregious attached to it, they vote against it, and then like, well, you're against the little children. I mean, how can you be against the children? And that's how they get you. I mean, if they were to vote against that, I mean, you might, College of DuPage might have had, I don't know, murder every third firstborn male child or something like that. And
it's more like $193,000 worth of liquor and booze.
I heard liquor and booze. That got my attention. What was that?
Yeah. I said thousands of dollars worth of liquor and booze tagged as instructional supplies. Those are the kind of items that you're seeing in there.
What class is that? Sign me up. So So what is the most egregious thing on there? I mean, you mentioned the liquor and booze. I imagine there's probably stuff in the in that was worse.
There's a lot. There's a lot in there. It's blatant misuse of their expense accounts, double dipping on mileage reimbursements, wining and dining, in hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is spanning over the last few years, I'll give you that. But some of the problem areas, some of the really egregious things that we're seeing here are, to me, one of the big ones is the no-bid contract, which is to assign a contract for hundreds of thousands of dollars for construction or services, assigning it to one company without bidding the project out, without getting multiple bids, without proper justification. It's no bid contracts can be used, but the criteria are very limited. They're very limited. It has to be things like only certain things such as only one company out of maybe 100,000 can perform. The services are so specialized that there's not enough competition to bid it out, or there is an immediate need for the service. So, those are understandable, but they're using these no bid contracts to award hundreds of thousands of dollars to there's some company was chosen. Other than, as it's coming out, a lot of them are on the COD Foundation Board. So it just looks very bad. It's a big conflict of interest right there. From an accounting standpoint, it's a big no-no. You have to bid out projects if they're hundreds of thousands of dollars. You need to be able to account for why you chose a particular vendor, and to award them a contract for $400,000, which was done to Hurricane Graphics. Hurricane Graphics is owned by a woman who is on the Foundation Board, COD Foundation Board. To award them the contract with no justification other than, well, we use no bid contracting and her services are very specialized. They were signs and billboards for around the school. It's graphic. How is that so specialized? The justification that was put before the board, good relations with this vendor. That doesn't make any. That is not.
We all know a sign maker.
You know what? It's Quick Prints. You could go to Quick Prints. It's but it's a very large area of risk. It's a high-risk area in the accounting world. Impressed accounts and no-bid contracts would be heavily audited. We'd be asking for justification upon justification for these expenses, and that's not being done at COD. The Board of Trustees is not doing their job.
Cronies in Illinois? That never happens.
I hate to see cronies. Yeah, I hate to see this type of corruption at a community college. It's terrible. It's what's been coming out has been very disrespectful to the community. It's disrespectful to the taxpayers, to the students. I don't want to see the reputation of this school go to just being another money filtering, pay to play, get in with the good group there and you'll be set for life kind of a place. The things that I want to push for better auditing of the college. I want to push for increasing transparency. I want to push for ending the no-bid contracts. And I want to push for stopping President Bruder getting his buyout contract, his golden parachute, which I haven't even talked about yet.
I was going to say, let's talk about that a little bit. Now, what's the deal with that? Walk us through the timeline of that.
Well, President Bruder came on board in 2009, and he had a contract. 4 months into that contract, they extended it another 3 years, which was questionable at the time, but that's beside the point. It put this contract out to 2019. Now, this year, the first mention of President Bruder's contract was put on the agenda for the monthly meeting that was held last Thursday, or prior Thursday to that, 2 weeks ago. Regular board meeting, it was put on the agenda for the board to approve. It was put on there as addendum to President Bruder's, approval of addendum number 4 to President Bruder's contract. Very vague. We didn't know the details. Now, earlier that day, maybe 3 hours before the meeting, I believe it was the Chicago Tribune, was leaked the details of that contract. And in those details, it said, President Bruder wants to retire. Okay, fine. President Bruder is going to get paid $762,000 for ending his contract early and ending as of March of 2016. Wait a minute, why that much? President Bruder is also going to get his name on the Homeland Security building, and he's also going to be able to retain his title as president in the honorary sense, which is normally only awarded to people who have been in service for longer than 15 years. So all of these details, obviously the taxpayers who are footing the bill are now saying, wait a minute, why are we giving him $762,000? You know, why is he getting this money? So during the board meeting, a lot of people went up and started asking questions. We would like to know the details. The board did not give us the details. The board refused to speak out the details of the contract, which they're supposed to do per the Open Meetings Act. They did not discuss the details of the contract and rushed through a vote, and it was approved 6-1, with the only dissenting vote being that of Kathy Hamilton. So they contended that, no, we put the details out of his contract. It was available before the meeting. It was not. It was not. It was available about an hour after the vote. That was when the details started coming out. And now, at this point, they held just 2 days ago, Wednesday night, they did a redo of the vote to, quote, clear up the inconsistencies and a procedural matter. Basically, they're trying to cover themselves now at this point. They're trying to follow the legality that they kind of skirted 2 weeks ago. And over 400 people turned out for this meeting Wednesday night. I was one of them. There were over 70 people or so who went up for public comment. Yes, and it was crazy. There were a lot of people, a lot of angry people out there who had a lot of good points. A lot of them spoke to the transparency issues with the contract. You know, they reiterated that, you know, over and over that the details were not given before the vote, and consideration to the taxpayers was not given. They implored the board to reconsider the vote, to stop what they're doing and listen to the people who elected them. A lot of good people went up and spoke. I went up and spoke. Brian Lambrick, chair of the DuPage Libertarians, he went up and spoke. And the vote was the same. They voted the same. 6-1, approved the clerical error. You know, they cleared that up. Vote was the same. And the comments continued into the night. There were a lot of digs made at President Bruder. A lot of them, I think, were very justifiable. There were some boos when boos, B-O-O-S, not the.
I was going to say.
There was a lot of booing at President Bruder and the board. People are angry at President Bruder. They're angry at him for using his authority and his power for personal gain. He is not doing things in the best interest of the college. He is doing things for himself. He is blatantly abusing the powers that were given to him. People are angry at the board. They're angry at the board because the board, the ones that are supposed to be the hawks watching out for the taxpayers, for the students, for the faculty, they're supposed to be the ones that tell the executive board no, and they're not doing that. They're not asking for more detail. They are not giving out detail to the public. They are trying to circumvent the rules of the Open Meeting Act whenever possible, doing the bare minimum that they can. They've had a COD attorney attending the board meeting. I don't see the point of that. If you are having an honest and open board meeting, why do you need an attorney there? You need him there if you're trying to placate a president who is abusing his powers and authority. And that's what he's doing. So people are very angry about this contract, about this buyout. A big question that came up that they never answered was, why are we giving him a buyout? He came to the board wanting to retire. There are provisions in a contract, yes, there's some level of compensation there, but that wasn't the case. He came to them wanting to retire. So why are we paying him? Why are we paying him so much? This amount is also the largest payout amount in COD history. And it's not the way that a board should be running things. If they were open and honest, if they were transparent, if they were listening to the people that elected them, I don't know. I don't think President Bruder would have even been in that position for so long. He received a vote of no confidence from the faculty board last September, and the board responded with nothing. A vote of no confidence is a group of people. It's their way of bringing attention to a situation. They said that he has created an environment of distrust and of fear. And the board has done nothing so far. And now with this golden parachute that's come out that the board pushed through, the people are very angry, and they are rightfully so.
Remember the no confidence vote up in Canada a couple years back, and they threw out the entire parliament? That's what that means.
I think we need to do that here.
That's what that means. When the people are that disgusted, it's just everybody out and we'll start over.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was brought up more than once during the board meeting. A lot of people were telling the incumbents who are rerunning for their seat, don't even bother. Don't even bother. You are not going to be here in May.
Wow, wow. So you're running for this office to hopefully remedy this nonsense.
Yes. As an accountant, I feel that I've got a very good background in financial statements, in reviewing, in auditing, in transparency. With my background, I have worked on projects where we have dug through the details. We have dug through the paperwork from beginning to end, asked the questions, and we've rooted out some bad stuff. I want to talk about a project that I worked on. We were performing an audit for a college, and the woman who had been there was the sole person to pay the bills. And she'd been there for a very long time. They liked her a lot. So she left, and the new person that came in said the accounting setup is a mess. To help make sense out of it all and just redesign it. And in the course of our audit, we found a lot of receipts for expenses that were not explainable made by this woman. We found a lot of payments to a company that, come to find out later, was owned by this woman, and there was little to no backup for these expenses, little to no
no one ever
little expenses. And unfortunately, the pastor, he knew nothing. He didn't know about it because he trusted this woman. That's the problem, is you put your trust in someone to look out for the best interests of other people, and that's what's missing in this board.
Yeah. Well, if everything's working, the lights are on, the doors are open, everything's working, why question how things are going? So, those sort of things can be hidden easily, and unless someone takes the time to look for them, they go unnoticed.
Exactly. Trust is, you need trust, but you need trust, but you have to cover your bases. You can only take your trust so far. You have to verify. You need to.
That's what I was going to say.
You need to be responsible.
Trust but verify, exactly.
Yes, trust but verify. Well, it's a big theme in accounting. That's what you have to do. Everything that we look at, everything that we do, everything that we were trained to do, you're taught this from day one in college. At day one of your first accounting class, you were taught that people are neither honest nor dishonest. Whatever you were looking at, you need to be able to explain at any time the what, the where, the why, the who, and the when of everything you're doing. You need to be able to drop everything and explain it. And you need to explain it so that it makes sense to anyone looking at it, anyone who's curious. That's what accountants do. We organize and we make sense of the numbers, and we verify that everything is correct and true and honest. And if it's not, we go back to the source, say, hey, what's going on with this? And we push until we get what we need, or until we find out we either get what we need or the person gets caught, basically. And that's what COD needs. It needs someone who is willing to push and keep asking the questions and not cater to the whims of an executive board, of a president he's been called a bully. He is apparently a really nasty guy. He received the same vote of no confidence from the college that he worked at prior to COD, Harper College. Got a vote of no confidence from that faculty board too. He is 2 for 2.
Wow.
Red flag.
Wow. And so this is a regular balloted position that you're running for then?
It is, yes. There are 3 positions open, 3 seats up for re-election. The election is April 7th. 2 of the incumbents, 2 of the trustee members are rerunning, so I really doubt they're going to go much further. And then there are 14 of us running for these 3 open positions.
Wow.
Yeah.
14?
Yeah,
wow.
yes, quite a few of us. But there are 8 candidates running on the reform side of it, and I'm kind of lumped in with them. I'm kind of the odd one out, because being a libertarian, I'm not really on either side. So, but I am under the reform kind of umbrella. And it is a nonpartisan race, so it's not like I'll have that nice big L next to my name. But I think that it's valuable. I think that being a libertarian puts me in a good place, because I'm not beholden to either side. I will do what's best for the people that elect me, and not be influenced by party politics. It's nonpartisan, but those kinds of things still come into play. I mean, it's still Illinois.
Yeah. Well, all that means is you don't have your party affiliation on the ballot, and that's really all that term means.
A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people think nonpartisan, and think, oh, okay, so politics won't go into it.
Right.
You haven't lived in Illinois very long then.
Okay. I hate to do it. We're going to have to wrap up a little early today because of some scheduling things on my side, but we got about 6 minutes or so left. First of all, when is the election again? That's end of February, right?
No. This one is April 7th.
Ah, April 7th. We got an election here in Grundy County at the end of February. I don't know what that's about, but okay. So now you are an accountant, correct?
Yes, I am. I have my master's degree and my bachelor's degree in accounting.
How many other accountants are running?
None. I'm the only accountant.
Now, did you have the local newspapers endorsed anybody yet for the board?
I've been working on endorsements. I've gotten endorsed by the Taxpayers United of America, and I've been endorsed by the Libertarian Party of Illinois, yes, the state party, as well as the DuPage County Libertarians. And then I'm working on a couple of other endorsements, but those are still in the works.
But the major newspapers haven't done any endorsements of anyone yet, have they?
Daily Herald. I've gotten endorsed by the Daily Herald. The article is, yes, I'm glad you said that. The article's on my website, which is claireballforillinois.com, and I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com, Claireball for Illinois. So you can check me out there. You can also take a look at my issues from there, and you can ask me questions and see the events that I've been at. I've been at a lot of events. I've met a lot of really good people who are very angry at this whole situation, and justifiably so. And I really want to work for them.
So, what can people do to help you out with your campaign? What do you have available? I'm assuming you're taking donations, but what else can people do? How can they contact you?
Well, you can get to me through my website. I do have a nice donation button on the website. You can come out to the events that I'm going to be at. Tomorrow I'm going to be at the Wheaton County Gun Show, just there to shake hands and say hello. You can please come out to the events, say hello to me, talk to me, ask me questions. Later on, I think in March sometime, we're going to be doing some walking and knocking on doors. So if anyone would like to jump in and help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. We're going to be stuffing bags and hanging them on doorknobs and going the whole grassroots area. And if there's anything else, my email address is on the website, and you can reach out to my campaign manager, Brian Lambrick. He's available as well. It's all on the website, and I really hope to get everybody's support, and I hope to hear from everybody. And yeah, I'm excited to bring some accountability to DoD.
Well, best of luck to you. We certainly need more accountants in government, and it's amazing how few we actually have, and how comptroller office is being run by somebody who doesn't have accounting degrees and all of that. And you figure the last election, Julie Fox would have been a shoo-in because she was the only one that had accounting background, but
considering it's an accounting job, I think so.
Illinois. We should just make Stockholm syndrome the state psychological illness. There's a lot of it there. But once again, we need to get going here. Apologize for the show being about 10 minutes short today, but once again, thank you, Claire, for putting up with us, all of the technical issues that we've been having, and that I had to shut my camera off to to make things run a little smoother, but if I have to do that,
no, not a problem. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
No problem. Come back anytime you want, except when we're not on. Go relax and probably be out doing nefarious things. And so there you go. Once again, thank you. Thanks, Eric, for joining us again. And of course, you're one of my co-hosts. So screw you. I'm not thanking you. And and there you go. So once again, from Morris, Illinois, this is Jim Goebel.
And from here in Lockport, Illinois, it's Eric Ferguson.
And we will be back. Definitely going to be back next week. We're going to go back to our regular weekly schedule. And there you go. So.